Okay, cool. Another thing that I've been watching lately is do you guys like? I know some of you guys are probably old enough to remember, but malls, man, and I'm not just talking about before COVID, but malls have like been steadily declining and shit. And I know the whole thing about what malls originally were for, and how we have a lot of mega malls now, but like I'm like it's kind of depressing, like the situation of malls in the country today. Like I that's where I started my adult job careers at. Like I worked in retail. Um, I worked in my first adult job was this place that had a kiosk of a watch store, and yeah, and it was originally in a place out here called Lincoln Mall. It was actually the first place. It was in a Citibank building out, like the bank vault building, in out here in Illinois. Um, shit, I'm smearing the shit, and I did not mean to smear it. Um, well, originally I think malls did have an issue, but I think my thing is like I really would have loved to see malls actually be what they were originally meant to be. They were meant to be like little small cities. But it's people use them as a way of basically making money and getting tax write offs and shit, right? That shit. I just fucked that up because I'm smearing it. But but um, I think malls. I'm not gonna say that they are something that should die, but they should. I think a lot of malls should actually be repurposed for what they originally was designed for. The guy who actually designed it made it for where it's just like instead of having high rises, malls were supposed to be um what high rises are now. And instead of having to build like upwards, you can actually build outwards and have all of these like different stores, but also living arrangements. Like imagine if you were actually living in a mall. And I know they have fucking former malls that they've now turned into like, you know, apartments and shit. And that shit is cool to me. Like instead of like having where it's um instead of having it where it's these ugly ass skyscraper high rises, you can have a mall and they have like not micro apartments, but like well, which is essentially micro apartments. But you are actually forced to like, and I say forced, but it's inevitable for you to actually know your neighbors and shit like that. Instead of like where you in big apartment rises or big apartment complexes where it's it's oh we're just an apartment complex and we don't really know each other and shit like that. Um, I don't know. I've actually would like to see the mall return to what it was before, and even oh here do we have it? Well, I'm working on it. I'm sorry. Let's actually go to this and see if I can actually bring it up. Let's Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Okay, cool. Let's actually go over this. Hold on, guys. I want to actually make it where I can actually stream this a little bit better, a little better quality. No wonder why it's taking so much. All right, cool. This should actually be a little bit better. Let's go.
And so, built in 1828.
Like, look at this. Look at this fucking.
People
like,
talk about saving historic buildings, but often the only way.
Imagine actually living in this shit, right? And I know you don't have a backyard and shit like that, but imagine if you were a college student. Imagine if you like only needed a small space, and like it just like you don't have to worry about like being like walking to your apartment under like yeah, this shit would be fucking awesome to have. This would be like to me it'd be great. Now, are you gonna raise a family full of people in this motherfuckers? But like no. But like somebody like me who actually just like would have a studio and shit like that, I can do this. Obviously, when my daughter comes over to spend some time, like it'll be small then. But just like a single person or just like a small couple, yeah.
The way to save them is to make them economically viable. How can you make this building economically viable when you have 50% common area? You know, and the answer to that is you've got to get the most per square foot rent that you can get from the space that you are able to rent.
It's 48 residential units. 19 of them are 225 square feet.
I thought that by dividing the spaces, you know, developers think in per square foot costs, and people who live in space think in what's the monthly cost.
Like,
so 225 square feet on a per square foot basis, it might be expensive. But this is a $750 apartment, it's cheap.
This is my humble abode. So you can see it's pretty small, but it's really all you need for one person. It's an efficiency kitchen, which doesn't have a stove. So I bought my own toaster oven, which works well. So there are just a few cabinets. You know, you don't need too many dishes here.
So what are you eating then if you don't have a oven?
Lots of canned soups, lean cuisines.
So you don't mind not having a stove?
No, I don't mind not having a stove. I'm doing a fellowship in international emergency medicine. The thing for me, the issue for me was that I'm gonna be in overseas in Rwanda and being a physician in the emergency department, you're so crazy busy that you don't have a lot of time on your hands and you're never really home. So then you
like think about it like this, and I know it's small. I'm not by no means saying it's not small. That goes without saying. But just imagine like if you are like someone who works, probably wouldn't be a primary home. But say if you're somebody that works in the city and you want to spend like 3 nights in the city but you live in the suburbs, shit like this. Like this isn't exactly really bad. And this is what, 2015? $725 for rent? Fuck.
You have your bath small as well. You just have a shower. You don't have a bathtub, of course. It's too small. And then you have your bedroom here. It's pretty much all you need. The bed came with the unit. It's definitely big enough. It's comfortable. I actually like the fact that it's tucked in against the wall. It's pretty cozy. So I have my clothes here.
Don't come knocking.
Jackets are pretty much here. And then I have my closet, which has been a struggle, but I figured out if you could get slim hangers, that works out really well. Lots of folding your clothes and folding your jackets up top. You can hang a lot of your things. The key is to keep it small. You can't have a massive wardrobe.
So what do you have? You have mostly work clothes?
Mostly work clothes. I wear a lot of scrubs. So that's that.
This is another unit that they were going over. I think this is one
This
of the
unit
largest
is about
units.
400 square feet. You get a washer dryer in a unit like this that you don't get in the other ones. Just in a 225 square foot unit, you can't give up space like that.
Is there a legal limit for apartments in Rhode Island or Providence?
Yes. A lot of cities are addressing that issue, but Providence hasn't addressed its issue. And so
Apartments under a certain size are not allowed, right? And so what I did to get around that is to have this go in the rooming house code. And so rooming house code doesn't allow for cooking facilities inside of the unit. But a microwave, for some reason, is not considered, even a convection microwave is not considered a cooking device. And on the smaller unit, 225 square feet, you're not allowed to put a door between the sleeping area because you would create a sleeping space, which is under building code also.
Does it bother you if there's no wall to the bedroom?
No, not at all. I think I actually prefer the open concept because.
So yeah, like this is like some of this shit is just like, where did they go later on in the video? This is also somebody who had a something. We'll have it more in the video. Oh, here it goes.
Not on the second and third floor. That was always a challenge for it.
Like you have stores in the
Micro
bottom floor and
retail
shit
is
like
like
that.
a new sort of idea. The idea in micro retail is that the more narrow you make a shop, the farther people in theory will drive to go to it. So the idea here is to make this into destination retail.
Like that destination retail.
The way that we're doing that is we're having very unique stores. There's no chains, and they're all in the same genre, which in this instance is fashion design.
There right now, so
A
it's a
tailor,
mess at this
like-
moment in time. But
Like
Say it's 225, so 240 divided by 12, it's $20 a month. That's your
this shit, like, I don't know if they
know, there's a
actually
huge
bring
waiting list
back
for it.
malls
It's
to do shit like that, where it's more along the lines of just, I don't know, just it's more along the lines of, you know, just having affordable housing. Like I get that, like yeah, that may seem a little bit much. $725 for something that small may seem a little bit much, but if it's well maintained, it's one of those things where it's just fucking, I don't know, it just seems to me that it just probably fucking feels, it would actually just feel like we're solving, like, especially a housing crisis issue. Because, you know, we're still in a fucking housing crisis issue. It never went away from 2008. But, you know, I just think that what's happened to malls are, because it was such a shift, a lot of things didn't catch up, and like retail is going away. Like traditional retail is going away, and it had its run. It did have its run, and I'm not saying that it's sad that a lot of people will actually be losing their jobs because traditional retail is going away. I fucking hate that, but like, instead of just tearing down a fucking old ass mall, or turning it into a fucking Amazon distribution center, like so many of these places are trying to do to like win Amazon. Why don't we have it in a way where we can actually, I don't know, just put that space towards use, and if it's not a profit in it, fuck. I don't give a fuck if it's not a profit in it for land developers and shit like that. But if it actually helps people, then yeah. Like, what fucking harm could it do besides not being able to fill your fucking bottom line?